All right, so we're starting it off strong with this grouping right here with some Conan the Barbarian in first of our 8 comic books in this grouping. This is the King Size Annual number 2 from 1976. I'm going to show you the front cover, I'll show you the back cover, and then we'll show you a little bit of the interior pages. To do that, I'm going to show you our little wiggle jiggle technique. We're going to let the light shine everywhere so I can show you little things like these spine ticks. They show up better under the light, so you can always go back and look at those. We don't want to use too much of your time, so we do it in high def so you can always go back, zoom in, pause, review it. I'll show you those 2 corners. You get a little bit of wear on the corners like you would expect on a book like this. We'll do that wiggle jiggle one more time just so you can see it. And of course, if you want to review the photos even further, we always have high definition photos in the catalog at TheBigToyAuction.com. We'll flip it over. We'll show you the back. Usually there's not a whole lot to see on the back, but if there is, you'll certainly see it. Little bits like that right there, little tiny minor flaws in the cover that might detract from it. And again, it gives you an idea of where to look when you really zoom in deep on those photos. And we'll open it up and we'll show you a couple of the interior pages. Why do we do that? Well, the reason is what I think of as maybe cream or off-white, you might think of as white or brilliant white or any of the other Who classifications, the Who card classifications that you Overstreet users might use. Why depend on me? Why rely on my opinion when you've got your opinion? You're better at determining what it is that you want, so we'll just open it up and show you so you have an idea of what it is that you're going to buy for your collection. So that's what we've done here. You get an idea of the quality and condition of those pages as we move on to our next book, Heathcliff. No one should terrorize his neighborhood or miss out on this lot. This one is from the Star line of Marvel kids-based comics. This is number 6 from February of that year. Looking pretty good right there with a couple of issues here along the corner. Now, I like this one because it's a nice dark cover, so when you shine that light, it really pops out any flaws and imperfections, so we really get a chance to dive deep on this one. I'll show you the same on the spine. Any kind of issues here? We do want to show you, look at that, a little tear in the cover at the top left there. That's a shame, because that's a nice piece, but we're going to flip these open, show you what we got on the back there, where you got the Care Bears. Everybody loves a Care Bear. And we'll open it up. We'll show you a couple of the interiors here, quality and condition of the pages on the inside. So we'll point out a couple of the white spots just so you can really determine what you think of those white spots and what you think of the overall quality and condition of the paper and the art. So there we go on that one. And again, that crease from the front cover, you can see it did go all the way through to the pages underneath. West Coast Avengers, next up. And it looks like the Marvel, at least at the end of that last one, the Marvel Universe might be putting some West Coast Avengers team together. I don't know. We'll have to see what their next phase looks like. November of 85, number 2. This is West Coast Avengers number 2. Nice shiny cover right there. Not looking too bad. A few minor issues here and there, of course, like you would expect from any comic that's close to 40 years old at this point. We'll flip it over on the back. We're not really seeing any major rips, tears, creases, cuts, bends, creases, folds, bruises, bends, fires, anything like that. We'll show you, we'll give you the wiggle jiggle just so you can see it. I thought I saw a little bit of creasing on that cover, and we'll show you the interiors here so you can get a gander for yourself of what's going on in the book. All around looking pretty nice. We're not seeing any ripped pages or anything like that. No major creases, nothing like that. And overall, pretty good color. So that'll do it for the West Coast Avengers as we move on to one of my all-time favorites, Red Sonja. If you're a fan of the Conan series or any of those books, you're really going to love this one. This is number 1. Red Sonja, number 1. There she is in all her barbarian goodness. I guess she's a barbarian as well, yes. fighting some kind of undead thing with a sword. What would you expect from a Conan book? So the movie did not do all that well right around that same time, but the comic certainly picked up and people really enjoyed it. This is from February of '83. We'll flip it over on the back. You can see some issues. I want to point out that top, as you're looking at it right now, that top left corner, you can see some marks right there, of course. Might detract from it. So, fairly decent, middle of the road kind of reader copy, but still a good way to get number one of this, along with all the other comics at a really good price. I think somebody's really going to be happy with this lot. This is a nice collection. I really like this lot. All right, we'll show you a couple of the interior pages here so you can see Sonja doing what she does. Some nice sword and sorcery, sword and sandal type action happening in here. And like any Conan book or any Red Sonja book, this is her own book. We'll leave Conan out of it completely. She is the hero of this. Like any of these kind of books, there's always craziness going on. We're moving on to some Archie right here with Archie's Pals and Gals, or should I say Gals. It's an older book, so you're going to see a little bit more wears and tears here and there. Plenty of creasing or ticking, at least, in this. We're not going to catalog every little deficit here because it'll take a while. This is obviously a beater copy right here, but hey, if you need number 166 to fill that hole in your collection, this is a great way to do it. You plop it on in there, fill that hole in your collection until you get a nicer one, but this one isn't bad. It's just that cover has seen some love from somebody along the way. Flip it over, you can see that nice Dungeons and Dragons artwork on there for the Intellivision game. And you can see a little bit more. More of the same from the front is what you're going to see on the back here, including that tear in the cover. Has that been repaired? Hard to tell. Yeah, it's been repaired. That's awful. It's a shame. It's been repaired, and poorly at that, with some tape. But at least it's there. At least the cover's not pulling off. That's a plus, I suppose. That's a bright side to that cloud. We'll show you the insides. If you just like to read these stories, well, you're in luck because this is a great looking piece, a nice readable copy, certainly a very passable copy, an excellent addition to your collection. We're moving on here with some Mighty Avengers. Nice piece right here. You got them all lined up. That's the thing about the Avengers that always made it kind of fun, was you'd get those lineup covers where just everybody's on the cover, including, for some reason here, the Fantastic Four. This is number 249. You got Thor. You got my favorite Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. So right in that era. And you have what appear to be Ewoks in the front, is my guess, based on their weaponry. All right, we'll flip it over on the back, and you can see, yep, some wear and tear here again. This is not, you're not going to send this one in to get graded. This is a nice readable copy. If you're missing this one in your collection and you need to fill it out, this is the one that's going to do it for you. Otherwise, I don't know. It's got some issues. It's certainly not one that you would slab and put on the wall, but a nice one nonetheless. Let's flip it open and check out what's inside, because that's what matters. Oh, look at that. Great 80s Avengers action. This is from 84. Back when they were only 60 cents. Hard to believe. There's Monica Rambeau right there. And just some more goodness. So again, quality and condition of the page. What is Hercules doing? Seriously, what is Hercules ever doing? But there in particular. And then we'll move on to some other Marvel stuff. US1. Who remembers this? This was a little late for the trucker craze of the late 70s, early 80s. By the time they got around to this one. But here it is. And it really kind of, in that same vein as BJ McKay and what are some of the other ones? Convoy and some of those kind of books and movies back then. So a nice little fun piece right here. This is US 1. We'll check out that cover. It's a dark cover, so it really pops any kind of issues with it. And not too many. Obviously, some issues here and there, but no major breaks, tears, rips, cuts, etc. Same with the back. Again, it's seen better days, but it's not one you're going to toss in the trash. This is a nice looking piece right here, especially if you need to fill that hole in your collection. Not a lot of folks offering US 1 out there, so weirdly, an unpopular series like this ends up becoming a little bit harder to collect, a little bit harder to find, because nobody's running out there to put up, issue number 11 of a series most folks haven't heard of. But you have, you know what you're doing. And so this is a great way to get this and put it into your collection. Check out all that whiteness on that page. That'll give you exactly the idea of what you want and give you an idea of how to judge it. As we move on to the last one in this one, starting it out, or finishing it up the same way we started off with Giant Size Conan, number 1. Great for all you collectors out there. It's a middle-of-the-road copy, but it's still number 1 Giant Size Conan. It's nice, and look at him there. He's got kind of a, I'm not even going to call that a battle axe. That's more of a hatchet. I don't know if that was done on purpose or somebody just got the the sizes wrong, but still, look at him just doing what he does best. Nice square-bound cover, which of course is going to have some issues. It's getting a little bit ratty on the edges. Doesn't need a trimming yet, but it's getting there. That tear in the cover on the back obviously is notable. And you can see it all the way through there, so I want you to be aware of that. Does that go through to the next page? It looks like it does, yep. Looks like it goes all the way through to at least the next page. That's a shame. That's back in the day. Johnny opens it up. He's excited to read his Marvel comic, and he just opens those pages too quick, and that's what happens. Personally, I think that's cool because that's a bit of provenance for it. Gives the piece a little character, a little story to it. But for many of you out there, you're just looking to get the nicest one that you can find. And this isn't too bad, but again, it's not one you're going to send in to get graded. It's one you're going to keep in your collection, love it, cherish it, read it as often as you can. That's Giant Size Conan, number 1, US number 1, number 11. And then some Mighty Avengers. You're going to get all of these. The Archie book. You're going to get all of these, all 8 of these books in one lot, one money, one way to do it. That's to head on over to TheBigToyAuction.com. There's the other Conan. There you can leave your pre-bids. But what I recommend always is join us live on auction day. Red Sonja, another one. West Coast Avengers. And some Heathcliff, smack in the middle of it. I recommend you join us on auction day. That's the best way to get hold of these. Either way you choose to do it. We look forward to seeing you at the auction.